Welcome back to the Bishop Fox live stream, The Art of Hacking. I'm your host, Tom Eston, VP of Consulting and Cosmos at Bishop Fox. And it is my pleasure to introduce our Hackers Arsenal in AppSec panel. So first I'll introduce Erez Yalan. He's the VP of Security Research at Checkmarks.
Correct.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And we have Vandana Verma. She's the Security Relations Leader at Sneak. Welcome.
Namaste.
And we also have Joy Lynn Kiru, Senior Cloud Security Advocate at Microsoft. Welcome.
Jumbo.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have all of you. And we are honored to have two members of the AppSec Village leadership team with us today. So to kind of start things off, can you both give us a snapshot of maybe what you do for the AppSec Village, and maybe share a couple teasers of what people can expect this year at the Village?
Sure. This is probably my most fun topic to talk about. 5 years ago, 2019, I founded the AppSec Village together with Leora Herman. Since then, as we said, it's our 5th anniversary this year.
That's great.
And the idea is to bring some order to the chaos of DEF CON and make sure that we manage to get some like-minded people that are interested and part of the application security ecosystem together. The cliche of a family is working well for us. Our villagers, the AppSec villagers, keep returning and they're very happy. We're growing all the time. So besides all the technical things behind it, we're also putting a lot of effort on becoming more and more hands-on. Not only giving talks, which we do, but also in parallel we have several workshops through the entire 2.5 days that we have the villages open, and many hands-on activities which we call pods, practical on demand, where people can just come in, join the conversation, join the activity, and learn something new. I think that Jolene can give some spoilers about what we're going to have there.
Yes, so we have many workshops throughout the day and practical on demand. So we have like spot the true positive. So you do some code review and get some
nice
vulnerabilities. We also have CAD games as well for threat modeling. Like we have very many things, and we also have kids workshops. That's happening tomorrow at 1 p.m. Workshop, and then we also have a practical on-demand session for kids. So if you have kids around, please bring them over tomorrow at 1 p.m. Saturday.
It's so cool that you are all doing that to invite kids into the conference and to the villages. I think that's so important. And DEF CON Kids is another area too that I know they're doing this year as well. So you got to start them young, right?
No, it must be. I want to say it's the next generation, but no, it's the current generation already.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Vandana, as someone with a strong passion for the open source ecosystem and its use within applications, right? What are some of your favorite open source frameworks or software that you feel are on the cutting edge of protecting applications these days?
Sure, that's a good question. I would start off with OWASP, because I'm part of OWASP. I'm one of the board of directors for OWASP. So most of the tools that I love all the tools, but if I have to specifically call out some of them, would be dependency check. OWASP dependency check is amazing because it can help in third-party dependencies, and it's one of the big problems around supply chain security. Then I totally love application security verification standard. It's more of a documentation project than tooling, but then it helps all the pen testers, anyone who's testing the application. So it has a great checklist, because I remember when I was starting off, I only knew about top 10, and I created my own checklist, and I went to my boss saying that, oh, there's something which I've created. And then I get to know that OWASP is not just top 10, but much more than that, and there's an ASVS exist. So ASVS, security knowledge framework, and what else do I love most? I also love Cyclone DX. That's an SBOM project, but a wonderful one, supported in multiple formats. So that's another project that I totally love.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
API security.
API security. I was actually thinking that he will say that. Yes, API, OWASP API security. Yes.
And why do you say that?
He's one of the lead.
Yeah.
Yes. That's awesome. So let's talk about supply chain security as kind of part of an organization's overall security, right? When we're talking about enterprises, I think I saw a statistic, they have like on average 175 applications in their environment, which obviously that's a lot. I want to ask you, Erez, based on your experiences at Checkmarks and previous companies and some of your personal projects, how have you achieved success in mitigating supply chain risks?
So that's a tough one. I think that the story of supply chain security is the story of application security at the moment. If in the past we knew that application security means making sure my code is bug-free and then it's safe, these days are long gone. We are not reliant only on our own code. We have everything around third parties, which can be something as using someone's API, open source packages, some GitHub actions or containers that someone else created or used. So the part that we are actually creating ourselves is relatively small, and it's being taken care of, let's call it traditional application security. Okay, we have tools like SAST and DAST and all that. When we come to the open source area or the supply chain area, the problem is completely different. It's not vulnerabilities anymore. It can be vulnerabilities in something, but it can also be malicious intent of people. And we see more and more attackers actually using this as a vector to attack. And if in the past we saw that we heard some people saying, okay, so we'll work without open source. Again, this is not really something we can do. And what we have to do is be proactive. We need to look at the packages before we use them. We need to look at APIs before we use them. Because when it comes to open source and malicious intent in them, as soon as we run it, even once, it's like we know from viruses.
Yeah.
It's too late. So everything needs to be proactive. And organizations are not mitigating that very well at the moment because we are still in the education area, the education time. What we're trying to do is to educate the industry, to educate our customers, but educate the entire ecosystem that are using supply chain that are not under their control.
Yeah.
Right, I agree. And especially open source, people say that we don't use or we might not use, but if there was a survey that I wouldn't quote it, but then there was a survey done and 80 to 90% of the applications on the internet, they're using open source. When they're using open source, which means they're opening a can of worms for the vulnerabilities to come, risks to come, per to say. So it's very, very important to understand what do we have in our house. For example, your code has so many things, and then now we have containers, we have Kubernetes, we are using IAC code. So very, very important to figure out where things can go wrong. Think from that perspective. And we are shipping software, we are using third-party vendors. So very important to keep them stacked, getting to know what do we have in our house. Like we have windows, we have doors in our house. But sometimes there are windows which we don't even remember they exist in the house. But when we go on vacation, like I love going on vacations, so I always quote that we should remember where things can go wrong, what windows are open or attackers can come in. So make a checklist. It's like an SBOM, creating a list of softwares, creating a list of vendors that we have, a list of applications that we have, because I was discussing with one of the company and they mentioned that we didn't actually realize that we were missing some of the applications from our database when we started scanning for Log4j. And it became so much critical that maintaining list of the application itself was a big problem rather than the dependencies. So I think, yes, that's very, very important to keep up to date.
Yeah, definitely. So given that like 75% of companies are directing their development efforts towards cloud native applications, we've seen the convergence of application security and cloud security. It's really, I think, a fascinating topic. Joylyn, since you're at Microsoft, and the public cloud domain, I'd love to get your insights on cloud native application development and the associated security risks with that.
Okay. So Okay, definitely when you deploy on the cloud, maybe in comparison to on-premises, definitely the attack surface increases, but we all have a shared security responsibility, and we all have to do a couple of things to make sure that our assets are secure. So I always say, for us, we have to be lucky all the time, and for hackers, they have to be lucky only once.
That's right.
Just from our conversation, we're talking about open source security, like you never know where the attack will come from. So you have to make sure that all your assets are secure. That's why, like for Microsoft, we have the Cloud Native Application Protection Platform, which we call Microsoft Defender for Cloud, which gives you like an overall view of your security posture for all your assets and gives you like a security score for everything. So be it like your VMs, your storage as well, your APIs, gives you a bird's eye view of everything. Also, multi-pipeline, multi-cloud, be it the major cloud providers, it gives you that overall view. And as well as your cloud workload protection, as well as your DevOps security posture, your cloud security posture management as well. So you have to make sure that you have everything covered within your cloud native applications.
Yeah, it seems that this has gotten a lot more complex, right, over the last several years with now these cloud native apps and the security associated with that.
It's complex, but according to me, it makes it easier because you also have cloud native security. So once you have them deployed, it's easier for you. You get to use all the features that is available to protect your assets. Otherwise, you wouldn't know which asset is actually compromised. You wouldn't know which asset is actually dormant, which you need to shut down. So, like I would say, it's easier, not really complex.
Right.
For me, it's easier.
I think that the complexity you're talking about is coming a lot from understanding that you need to protect everything, which is a good notion, but we have so many building blocks now. So again, you need to protect your code, you need to protect your microservices, you need to protect your infrastructure as code, you need to protect your open source. Each of those means another dashboard, another vendor, another a set of alerts. Some of them are doubled, some of them are misleading. We have alert fatigue everywhere. So a little bit of the blame of the complexity, I think, is on vendors, and I represent one here, so I'm allowed to say that.
That's a great point. Yeah.
But I think most vendors understand that now, and this fragmentation of going to so many different reports to protect one application, I think it's slowly coming together, and we're seeing more organizations trying to move to a platform that shows them everything in one place maybe, or take care of that for them, and they don't need to run like 10, 15 different tools. We're not there yet, but I'm optimistic.
Well, yeah, there is hope. And I think that's actually a good segue into obviously one of the hot topics in the industry right now is AI, right? So how do you all see the impact of AI in the application security landscape? Because everyone says that AI is going to solve everything for us, and it's the future. Well, what's your thoughts on that? Maybe start with.
You want to start?
I would start.
You
Yeah,
wanna start?
sure.
Go ahead.
I'd say AI is here to stay. Everyone has their own perspective, and it's just my opinion. It has its pros, it has its cons. So there was a company which recently got hacked because their internal code was there on the internet because of ChatGPT, but not to blame ChatGPT. It's like somebody is using it, and it's going on the internet. But then I would say it is helping intern as well. It is going to mature the whole environment. Like if we are using AI in code security, then it is only going to mature the code. It is not going to say that, okay, there are 10 different vulnerabilities, or there are 11th one which is going to come, so it will highlight it. So AI is going to be really good in that. But then with great power comes great responsibility. So we have to use it carefully, and at the same time understand how much do we need to do it. I've been speaking with people around it, and they said that we have built our own internal system so that the data does not go out. the cache does not go out. So I think these kind of measures, if we take or conscious things or conscious steps towards using AI, I think it's going to help us. And there are people say that it's going to take away security people's job or something. I think it's only going to help us. Every time there's something new that comes up,
Sure.
like we work for vendors, and when code security tools started coming on, because we were doing manual code reviews, they said, oh, they will remove people and they do this. But trust me, it's only going to help us mature, innovate more, get something new. So my perspective, it's a balanced approach. But when you're using something, just be more mindful of what you're using.
Yeah.
So I think that AI in general at the moment is extremely hyped, as we know. But if you clean that hype away, it's a very good tool. And I'm saying tool and not a solution, because it is a tool that will help you to get to the solution. It's not something that stands by itself and going to solve something miraculously. But if we use it in a smart way to help us make the things like patterns pop up better or anything like that, we can use it as a tool. Eventually it will mature more and help us more, but it will be one more step, one more tool that we can use to achieve security. And in parallel, because this is always a mirror and always a cat and mouse, we have new technology, we have new attack surfaces. So we all heard about prompt injection.
Yes.
Prompt injection was not available before we had AI prompts.
Yeah.
So this is something new, and this is something we need to deal with. This is the two sides of the coin all the time.
According to me, like, yes, we're all talking about AI for good, but also remember hackers will be using AI for their own good, so AI for bad.
That's right.
So the attack surface will definitely increase, so we have to be on top of our toes for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank all three of you for being on this panel. Great to speak with all of you. I hope you enjoy DEF CON and the rest of the time here in Las Vegas.
We always enjoy DEF CON.
Great. Enjoy the AppSec Village.
Thank
Sure
you.
it'll be successful,
And
as it always is.
and
the Recon Village.
And we're inviting everyone to come and say hi.
Great.
To the AppSec Village.
Awesome.
And Recon Village.
And Recon.
And Recon Village, that's right. All right, and we will be back, so stay tuned for more from the Bishop Fox live stream from Las Vegas.